be showing you downward facing dog. And even if you're completely new to yoga, I bet you've probably heard of downward facing dog, whether it's in pop culture or someone referencing yoga. It's one of the most common poses that we see in any form of yoga, any style. Downward dog is a pose that kind of brings it all together. So in downward dog, there's a lot of things to remember, and you'll kind of pick up maybe one little point in your first practice and then another little point in the next practice, and you'll begin building it on so that you can really build strength and safe alignment in downward facing dog. So our first point is we want to have the hands underneath the shoulders, and not underneath the shoulders, but shoulder width apart. And our fingers are really spread, and that helps distribute the weight evenly in the wrists and in the hands, so we're not really coming into the thumbs, or we're not coming into the outside edge of the hands. You also want to make sure that that middle finger is pointing directly towards the front of the mat. So that helps keep our wrists in good alignment rather than tipping them out or tipping them in. So bringing the hands on the mat shoulder distance apart. Then we're going to bring our feet behind us, and to start, tuck your toes. And first, come into a plank pose here, and it's just going to be for a minute, but that helps you find the distance, how far your hands should be from your feet in downward facing dog. When I first started practicing, my hands were quite close to my feet, and I thought, great, this is my downward facing dog, I can make a nice triangle shape. Then I was taught that actually that doesn't allow for a lot of fluidity when you're coming through a sun salutation, because then you have to keep adjusting the distance between your hands and your feet. So readjusting your alignment and practicing keeping that distance helps you really flow through your sequences a lot better. So coming into plank pose, find the alignment with the feet, then you're going to begin to draw the hips up towards the ceiling. Your feet are about hip distance apart, and you can come up onto the toes, maybe the heels draw down. That doesn't really matter, it's going to be different for each person. Really want to think about drawing the tailbone up towards the ceiling to find that lift. And also the ears are aligned with the inner biceps. So we don't want the head to be coming past the arms like this. We also don't want to push it really through the shoulders. So just lining up, gazing kind of somewhere halfway down between your mat. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. So if you can see, if I'm in downward facing dog like this, I want to roll that open rather than hugging them in to the ears, rolling them away to keep a nice space and also distribute the weight evenly. You can also think about rolling the thighs outwards. And that's because, let's see if I can show you that like this. So a lot of us have a tendency to kind of tip in. So if you think about rolling the thighs outwards, then it just helps align everything right down through the ankles, and also helps align the pelvis and the sit bones. Finding my distance, my hands, distributing the weight evenly between my hands and my feet, rolling my thighs outward, rolling my shoulders outwards, finding the alignment with my head, and then most importantly, remembering to breathe. Few modifications: if your wrists are really tender, maybe you've had a wrist injury, or if you're just building up the strength in your wrist, you can come into dolphin pose, which is on the forearms. And that's a good option instead of downward facing dog. If your shoulders are really tight, you can also take a bend in the knees in downward dog. So sometimes I see a lot of this where people are in their downward facing dog, but it looks like this. And that's because there's tightness through the back, tightness through the hamstrings. So if you take a bend in the knees, so if your body's like this, but you take a bend in the knees, that allows you to come back a little bit more and find a bit more of that length. And then you can work on straightening legs once that flexibility is built up a little bit. So that's downward facing dog. I could do an entire workshop on that posture. So if you have any additional questions, if you want something explained better, send me a message or right below. And don't forget to check out my ebook where you can figure out how to put all these poses together into your own sequences at home. Have a great day.